The 1980s were a golden age for science fiction. Not just the blockbusters everyone remembers, but the strange experiments, tonal risks, and genre hybrids that slipped through the cracks. Studios were willing to gamble on bold concepts, practical effects ruled the screen, and filmmakers weren't afraid to mix sci-fi with musicals, romance, horror, or pure camp. Some of these movies flopped, some were misunderstood, but all of them carried ideas and atmosphere that still feel fresh today. These are the forgotten sci-fi gems of the 80s that truly deserve a comeback.
How you doing, boy? How about a pit stop?
10. Xanadu, 1980. Xanadu is one of the most unusual blends of science fiction and musical fantasy ever produced by a major studio. The story follows a struggling artist in Los Angeles who encounters a mysterious woman who inspires him to open a roller disco nightclub. She is eventually revealed to be a muse from Greek mythology, sent to Earth to spark creativity. The sci-fi elements are subtle but essential, framing the story around immortality and divine intervention. The film's neon-soaked visuals, glowing soft-focus cinematography, and electric soundtrack create a dreamy, otherworldly atmosphere. Though initially criticized for its camp tone, Xanadu feels uniquely bold in hindsight. Its commitment to spectacle and stylized fantasy would likely be diluted today. A comeback could embrace its unapologetic weirdness instead of smoothing it out.
Kira.
Sunny.
9. Enemy Mine, 1985. Enemy Mine tells a simple yet powerful story set against an interstellar war. A human pilot and an alien soldier crash on a hostile planet after destroying each other's ships. Forced to survive together, they begin as enemies but slowly develop mutual respect. The alien, portrayed with remarkable prosthetics and emotional depth, becomes one of the most sympathetic non-human characters of the decade. The film explores prejudice, empathy, and shared humanity through science fiction allegory. Its barren planet setting creates a lonely, almost intimate atmosphere. Instead of focusing on space battles, it prioritizes character development and philosophical themes. Though it struggled at the box office, its message feels timeless. In today's era of spectacle-heavy sci-fi, its quiet emotional core would stand out. Eight. Galaxina, 1980. Galaxina is a low-budget sci-fi comedy that openly parodies space operas while still telling its own story. Set aboard a quirky space patrol ship, it follows a crew tasked with retrieving a mystical artifact, with the title character serving as an android navigating human absurdity. The film leans heavily into satire, poking fun at sci-fi cliches, futuristic bureaucracy, and pulp adventure tropes. Its humor is dry and intentionally awkward, and the production design carries that charming handmade 80s aesthetic. Beneath the comedy, there's a subtle commentary on artificial intelligence and identity. While it never aimed for seriousness, its playful tone and practical effects give it personality. A modern revival could sharpen its satire while preserving the analog charm that made it distinctive.
I can't stand it.
7. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, 1989. Though often remembered as family entertainment, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is pure high-concept science fiction. A scientist accidentally miniaturizes his children who must survive the dangers of their own backyard, now a vast wilderness filled with towering grass, predatory insects, and improvised survival challenges. The film's practical effects are the true star, Oversized sets and animatronics create a convincing micro-world that feels tactile and immersive. Beneath the adventure lies a story about parental responsibility and rediscovering connection. The atmosphere balances wonder with real tension, especially in moments of peril. Its blend of accessible sci-fi and heartfelt storytelling feels rare today. A comeback could update the technology while preserving the sense of scale and creativity that made it memorable. 6. The Deadly Spawn, 1983. This cult horror sci-fi gem revolves around a meteorite that crashes into Earth, unleashing carnivorous alien creatures that invade a suburban home. The story focuses on a small group of survivors fighting back against grotesque, multi-mouthed monsters. The film's practical creature effects are impressively elaborate for its budget, with slimy textures and snapping jaws that still hold up. Its suburban setting enhances the claustrophobic tension, turning an ordinary home into a battleground. There's no corporate conspiracy or epic space war, just survival. The tone is straightforward and intense, embracing creature feature roots without irony. It's the kind of gritty, small-scale sci-fi horror that modern studios rarely attempt. A revival could lean into practical effects again, honoring its DIY spirit. 5. Forbidden World, 1982. Set on a distant research planet, Forbidden World follows a troubleshooter sent to contain a genetically engineered organism that has gone violently out of control. The premise echoes larger sci-fi horror classics, but the film injects its own grindhouse edge. The alien creature mutates rapidly, creating unpredictable and brutal confrontations. The production design features industrial corridors and laboratory tension, creating a suffocating atmosphere. There's an undercurrent of corporate recklessness and unchecked scientific ambition driving the narrative. The film is unapologetically pulpy, with explicit violence and mature themes. Its rawness gives it character. In today's environment of polished sci-fi thrillers, Forbidden World's scrappy intensity would feel refreshing. 4. Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend, 1985. This adventure-driven sci-fi film tells the story of a couple who discover a living brontosaurus deep in the African wilderness. As they attempt to protect the creature from exploitation, the film blends paleontology with speculative survival fantasy. The animatronic dinosaur effects give Baby a surprising emotional presence, turning the creature into a sympathetic character rather than a spectacle. The atmosphere balances family-friendly wonder with genuine danger. Unlike later dinosaur blockbusters, this film focuses more on preservation and connection than chaos. It's sincere and earnest, driven by curiosity rather than destruction. A modern comeback could reintroduce that sense of awe without relying entirely on digital effects. 3. Brainstorm, 1983. Brainstorm centers on a revolutionary device capable of recording and playing back human experiences directly into another person's brain. When one of the scientists dies while using the machine, her recorded death becomes both a scientific breakthrough and an ethical nightmare. The film explores consciousness, mortality, and the limits of technology with surprising seriousness. Directed by visual effects pioneer Douglas Trumbull, it experiments with shifting aspect ratios and immersive audio-visual sequences to simulate altered states. the atmosphere feels contemplative and slightly melancholic. Instead of focusing on chaos, it asks philosophical questions about memory and transcendence. It's ambitious, thoughtful science fiction that deserves rediscovery in an era obsessed with virtual reality and neural tech.
Maybe it's not a good idea.
I can rewire the output.
2. Earth Girls Are Easy, 1988. Bright, colorful, and unapologetically silly, Earth Girls Are Easy follows three furry aliens who crash land in Los Angeles and transform into humanoid versions of themselves. The film blends sci-fi, musical numbers, and romantic comedy into a uniquely 80s cocktail. Neon visuals, pop music energy, and exaggerated performances define its tone. Beneath the camp lies a playful exploration of identity and outsider perspective. The alien's naive curiosity becomes a mirror for human absurdity. It's chaotic but joyful, embracing its own ridiculous premise. In today's era of carefully managed IP, a movie this tonally wild would be rare. A comeback could celebrate its vibrant style while leaning into its self-aware humor. One. The Aftermath, 1982. Set in a post-nuclear wasteland, The Aftermath follows a former soldier navigating a shattered world filled with scavengers and unstable factions. The science fiction elements are minimal but effective, focusing on societal collapse and survival rather than futuristic tech. The ruined landscapes and makeshift settlements create a stark, desolate atmosphere. There's a rawness to its storytelling, driven more by mood than spectacle. Characters move through a world stripped of order, where morality feels fragile. The film captures early 80s nuclear anxiety in a grounded way. It doesn't glamorize apocalypse, it portrays it as lonely and uncertain. A comeback could deepen its themes while preserving that stripped-down human focus that made it quietly powerful. If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden corners of cinema, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribe to Cinemira for more strange, forgotten, and fascinating films. Your support keeps this adventure alive. And trust me, there's so much more to discover together.